Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Memes of the Week. The best thing you can do for this channel is smash that like button like it's your Alabama cousin, so it reaches a wider audience. And now on with the memes. Number one, this woman opened up her own auto repair shop because she wants to make women feel safe. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't feel safe driving a car that was serviced by her. The brakes would fail and I'd be flying off a cliff. When her business fails, she's going to blame men for being misogynist and not giving her enough business. But there'll be no mention of the women that refuse to go there because they're scared of other women fixing their vehicles. Up next, this woman says that if you're over 28 and a man is taking you as a woman out to Red Lobster, you need to reevaluate the kind of men you're dating. Destiny then says it's because of women's standards like this that men don't want to date women anymore. An 85-year-old woman named Honey says that she would shuck a schwing for Red Lobster's Admiral's Feast and Biscuits. Looks like Hottie was from the greatest generation, who still appreciate men for what they can do for them. Number 3, the late great Kevin Samuel says that if you ask a woman what she wants from a man, she'll give you a thesaurus long list of requirements. But if you ask her what she brings to the table, she can write it down on the back of a stamp. It's gone so bad these days that men bring almost everything to the table, including the table itself. Steve Harvey lied and said that women are the table. Maybe what he meant to say is that they're as wide as that table. Moving on, an 80-year-old woman was beaten until she was no longer in her meat suit in a very diverse part of the UK by a bunch of children. But it doesn't mention the background of the children who are between the ages of 12 and 14. Of course, they won't mention that because then it might show that diversity isn't working. The best they can do is say that the area was highly diversified. But I'm sure it's nothing and it's just white toxic Christians with mental health issues that did this. Number 5, I don't know if this guy's for real or not, but he says he just found out that Grindr isn't an app for Sigma males and hustlers. And he also realized that he put that he's young, hungry, and tired of being at the bottom. It's an honest mistake. Then again, maybe someone found out about his Grindr profile, so he's just saying that as an excuse. So many possibilities. Up next, remember guys, men are not put on this earth to simply pay bills, stress, and then die. Men need love and respect too. Yeah, but women see men as nothing more than their plow horses these days. And most men are weak simps and allow themselves to be manipulated by women into being their slaves. But I don't blame males. I blame our biology and other men for not telling us that love is nature's mousetrap to get us to marry and serve some ungrateful slurs. Number 7, blacks are asking for reparations because whites need to pay blacks back for all the damage they've done. This is ironic because whites build most of the homes in cities like Detroit and Baltimore, and blacks become the majority in those cities, and now they're falling apart. Are whites the ones responsible for burning Detroit to the ground? And then when whites come back to fix Detroit, blacks accuse whites of gentrification and blame them for bringing up the housing prices. I'm so tired of this. Moving on, Flora asks why older men in their 40s and beyond prefer women in their 20s. And she asks why they don't choose women their own age. Younger women are more pleasant-mannered with less baggage. Lower body counts can give guys a kid, are less stressful, and are more attractive. Maybe we should ask low-income women why they're dating rich men instead. Why can't they date within their own income brackets? Number 9, when a parent alienates their kid from the other loving parent, they're abusing their children. Alienation is child abuse. Yeah, but in this part of the world, that's just standard operating procedures for most women. But no woman will ever get called out for abusing her kids this way. Instead, the kid will feel like his father hurt his or her mother and hold a grudge against dad. Most men are loving and trusting and won't fight back when the mother says things like this because they're simps. Up next, and speaking of single mothers, here's one that's complaining about working overtime hours and that the government takes a third of her pay. I don't feel sorry for single mothers. Most of them choose to be that way. You don't see men complaining about paying tax and people taking them seriously. So why should we take women seriously like this? Maybe she should call the father of her children for help instead of taking to social media. Number 11, looks like Andrew Tate faces life in a Romanian prison, if convicted on all charges against him. Well, that escalated fast. Apparently there are 35 new women that have all been trafficked. He was also accused of trafficking a minor. There is no jury, just a judge, so there's a good chance of him getting convicted. Looks like he won't be able to bribe his way out of this situation. He should have pulled a Snowden before it was too late. Now he's probably under house arrest until the end of the trial and sentencing. Moving on, looks like Rick and Morty is red-pilled by saying that love is just a chemical reaction to compel animals to breed. It hits hard when it slowly fades, leaving a failing marriage. But that saying won't exactly sell romantic dinners and Valentine's Day gifts. I'm not sure this is a quote from the show because I didn't watch it. Love is a lie and men fall for it like we fall for Santa Claus as children. Once you accept in your heart that women don't love you, but only love what you can do for her, then life becomes a lot easier. Number 13, how do we explain Joe Biden's and Kamala Harris's net worth rising this much over the last 4 years? It looks like corruption to me. Unlike these two, Trump donated his presidential salary and lost $2 billion worth of his personal fortune while in office. Some say he's a true public servant, but don't worry, he'll get his money and become even more rich by slashing taxes on the rich, and that includes himself. So he'll probably save billions doing that. Being president for him was also partially a business decision. Up next, it's badass when people stand in front of things that they end up destroying. My favorite, though, is Kathleen Kennedy standing in front of Star Wars. Remember, guys, that Star Wars is no longer the movie franchise you were hoping for. Move along. I'm also not being sexist because men can play this game too. Notice Jar Jar Abrams at the bottom right of this picture. The captain always goes down with the ship, it seems. Number 15, we have Haley Welch, the Hawk 2 girl, starting a podcast to tell her story. She's going to ride this to millions. I think that at some point, once the attention starts to die down, she's going to start up a Lonely Fools page to make sure she gets those millions. Her first podcast got almost 400,000 views, and she's going to be putting out episodes every Tuesday. Moving on, this woman is watching Venezuelan men take over her apartment building, but some of them are real fine. She's like all women. She doesn't care if a man is violent or a jerk. They only care if the man is attractive. Women voted for this, and it looks like they're actually enjoying it. This criminal women say it's impossible for him to rape a woman because anyone would love it. Another woman says that she would pay for him to grape her. For many women, grape is only a crime if you aren't good looking enough and have low status. But if you end up losing your status in the future, then they become disgusted by you many years later, even though they once found you attractive. Number 17, this woman went and got her naughty bits pierced. They got infected and fell off, and now she's wondering if she could sue the piercing shop. Maybe she should have posted a photo so we could all get a better understanding and lose some weight thanks to losing our appetites. My guess is this is probably common in the piercing community, so they probably got her to sign something saying that they wouldn't be responsible for any damage caused by an infection. Up next, Ariel says that sometimes a woman doesn't realize that she was sexually assaulted until months or years later. Someone answers back by saying, or even decades in some cases after he earns enough money. These sorts of cases should be dismissed, but there's no statute of limitations. The only thing being assaulted are my eyes by that trash Grammar Ariel is sharing in the post. Online fapping material and AI girlfriends look better and better these days and are a lot less risky. Number 19, remember that masculinity is important because when the poop hits the fan, no one looks for a feminist. Also, let's not forget that in this picture before it was cropped, this woman's feminine husband, Simp, is in front of her carrying her flip-flops and purse while this soldier is carrying his wife. Don't be the guy holding the shoes and purse. Also, don't be the white knight coming in to rescue that woman either. She's strong and independent and is capable of carrying herself. Moving on, British rapper and activist Akala is embarrassed by his mother's whiteness. But now it looks like there are rumors that he's secretly dating Angelina Jolie, a white woman. Maybe he's just dating her to take out his resentment against his mother on Jolie. Why is it that some famous black actors and musicians date white people, but they end up dating them? Is that like feminists that bash men but secretly want to become men? Number 21, here's the choice that women in soy society want men to make. Either moving towards feminism or traditional gynocentrism. Women win either way, and it's the same destination. It's the illusion of choice, but both paths lead men to serving women. Feminism is politically left and traditionalism is politically on the right. The only way to win is to take neither path, but carve your own way right down the middle. Up next, we have Viktor Orban, the Prime Minister of Hungary, and he's refused to pay a 200 million euro fine for not letting migrants into his country. Good. Become ungovernable and don't let the globalists destroy your nation. I was in Budapest last year, and it was like traveling back in time to the 1980s with regards to demographics. In another 10 years, Hungary and Poland are going to look like geniuses for not selling out to the Jeets and Mohammeds. Number 23 in Brazil, this is the minister of the Supreme Court that voted to ban Twitter X from his country. Looks like commies gonna commie. If you want to know why this is happening, it's because communism is replacing Christianity in Brazil. Looks like Brazil hasn't tried real communism yet, because that's the fattest communist I've ever seen. And once the Marxist government gets introduced, he'll be going on a diet due to food shortages. The irony of modern commies is that none of them have actually swung a hammer in their lives. Moving on is more enrichment in England. This man drove almost 100 feet with a 12-year-old schoolgirl trapped under his van, and he walks away free claiming that he had just hit a road cone. And they say that the UK doesn't have a two-tier justice system. But if you post memes on social media and you have the wrong colored complexion, then you end up going to jail for years. And this guy will probably throw bricks at the police during the peaceful activist protests. Number 25 and the last one, this Spanish actress who fought against fat phobia has died at the age of 46. Looks like fat phobia won. She only weighed 450 pounds, so that means she must have passed away due to man-made climate change. Strange, it's almost as if excessive weight is unhealthy or something. I hope they charge her for 2 caskets because of all that extra weight. She died doing synchronized swimming of all things. Let that sink in. No pun intended. So that's it for another Memes of the Week. Please give this video a like to push it up in the algorithm and so new viewers can find it. If you enjoyed this series and want me to keep making it, then donate at the PayPal and Subscribe Star links below. Anyways, enjoy the rest of your day, and cheers.